This is Julie from the New York City branch of Workers' World Party. I'm going to show all of you how to help amplify the message of the party before the conference, during the conference, and after the conference. As you know, a live stream will be going live at 9 a.m. on Saturday and continuing to go live throughout the weekend. And just being live by itself isn't enough. People actually have to share that live stream out into the Facebook universe, whether it's on your personal timeline or into various Facebook groups that you belong to. The reason that you want to do that is because, for example, Workers World right here, you can see it has 6,571 people that like this page. Facebook's algorithm, as of a couple of years ago, changed. It has a new algorithm that actually discriminates against small pages and against pages that seem to, not be that active or that engaged with its audience. So what you would have to do, I'll show you an example of exactly what I do on a daily basis several times a day, because I manage a number of pages. So in this case, I would scroll down and I would find something I think that might intrigue people. So let's say I'm like, 2 hours ago, this article from workers.org was posted on the Workers' World Party Facebook page, and it's about Saudi Arabia moving to threaten wider war. I might click on this and read the article and think this is so great. People need to know about this. How do I get people to know about this? First of all, I should like this post, because every time a post is liked, it helps amplify it a little bit more according to Facebook's algorithm. And that means that it literally will show up in more and more people's news feeds. And I would also want to share this post as well. So I'd click on that share button, and actually I need to show you something. When it says share, I want you to click on that second option with the three dots behind it, because that's the one where you get to choose where you get to share it. So you have 6 options here. You can share it on your timeline. You can share it on your friend's timeline. You can share it into a group, into an event page, onto a page that you manage, or inside of a private message to a friend. I'm going to share it inside of a group, and I'm going to pick a group that I think this post would people would like inside of that group. Now, what's a Facebook group? A Facebook group is different from a Facebook page. A Facebook page is usually like the public face of an organization. So Workers' World Party has its own page. NBC News has its own page. The White House has its own Facebook page. So the only people who can post on those pages, for the most part, are whoever gets to manage it as a back-end admin. But a Facebook group is different. Facebook groups actually started a number of years ago, and it was meant for like-minded people to basically be able to talk to each other inside of a space. So they get to post articles, and other people get to see those articles. And people within those groups get notified when their friends post inside of those groups, which is very different from how you normally have it, where you don't get notified when your Facebook friends post an article on their own timeline. So that actually presents a great opportunity for Workers' World Party, because if you want to amplify the message of the Workers' World Party, you would want to post it inside. You would want to post those our posts inside of a Facebook group. So let's pick a group that I think would be relevant. I think that Real Progressives is a relevant group. They would like the people who follow that group. It's about 18,000 people in that group. they would like this kind of article, because I know from seeing other articles posted in that group that people like foreign policy and things related to the global war, related to oil, and that kind of thing. So I would post it in there, and I could just press post, and that would be it. Or I could actually write a comment like, check out this piece on the expanding war in West Asia. I would say West Asia because, we need to be accurate about how we call things. So that's how I would write that out, or maybe I would just change it. Maybe people will understand. People might not understand West Asia, so maybe I'll be like, okay, check out this piece on the expanding war. I don't want to say the Middle East because it's technically not a good way to describe it. It's Eurocentric, so I would say the expanding war for oil. That's good. So check out this expanding piece on the war, check out this piece on the expanding war for oil. I'd press post, and hopefully 18,000 people would see it, and you just saw a little note that said that it was sent for the approval of the admin. So some Facebook groups actually have admins that approve or disapprove your posts before people in that group can see the post. The reason for that is because some groups have tons of people spamming those groups, and then the quality of the posts are not that great. So some people will actually choose to be the admins and only allow the relevant articles to be posted. And Real Progressives has, for the most part, always posted and approved my posts. So let's keep sharing. Again, we're going to click on share, and then the second option, share ... and share into a group, and I'm going to share it into something called Real Bernie Sanders Activists. That's about, I think, 11,000 people or 18,000 people in that group. Again, I forgot to copy the commentary from the last piece that I shared, so I would just say, check out this piece on the expanding war for oil. And then I would press post. And I would keep doing that into many groups. I would actually, normally I share into 12 to 15 or even 20 different Facebook groups that are relevant. Well, when I say relevant, I mean they really need to like what, you need to know the group well enough that you would know that they would like this article or this post. If you just post into any group without thinking about the relevance to the people in that group, what's going to happen is people are going to just start ignoring you, or even worse, people might find your stuff offensive and report you to the admin, or you might get banned by Facebook. So just avoid all of that by doing your research and looking for the relevant groups to post your articles into. How to find groups. So if you're, for example, I'm in the New York City branch of Workers' World Party, and I want to find groups locally that might have local people in it, because I'm wanting to help spread the word about our actions in the streets. So how do I do that? I need to, first thing I could do is I could just do a search for New York City. And then I click, there's like this menu up here. I would click on groups, and you would see all these options. So some of them are pretty broad. New York City housing, rooms, apartments, and sublets, 118,000 members. But is that relevant for the work that I'm doing? Probably not. New York City lovers, for people who love Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, and Staten Island. I joined that group, so I have posted into there. And let me just see. I'm a member of the New York City group as well. And I keep going like that, but maybe New York City itself is not the word I need to use to search. Maybe I should do a search for Brooklyn instead. And Kensington, Brooklyn is a group I've been a member of for a year. And even though it's small, it only has like 6,600 people in the group. It's a very engaged group. So lots of people tend to. I'll get about 10 likes on a post if I post inside of that group, and people will actually comment on those posts. So don't kind of discriminate against smaller Facebook groups. They may actually be more engaged than the larger ones. And here, look, there's another one called North Brooklyn Community. I just found it. I'm going to click on it. It says it's a group for posts about North Brooklyn events, news, etc. I'm going to click on this. I want to join it. Oh, and look at this. It wants me to answer some questions because the admins want to make sure that I am worthy of membership in this group. So I might say, I'm going to start here answering this question. We are trying hard to keep this a truly local community resource. Please answer all sections. How did you hear about North Brooklyn Community page? I found you in a search for Brooklyn. Do you live or work in Brooklyn? Yes or no? Can you talk about your interest in joining the page? No, I don't live there, but I am advocating for accessible subways and buses and an end to racist policing. Last question. What part of North Brooklyn do you live or work in? Thanks so much for taking the time to read these. I don't live or work in North Brooklyn. So hopefully they accept me anyway, and I'm going to press send. So they're going to review my answers and get back to me at some point. So not all groups require you to actually answer those kinds of questions. So we can just kind of keep going through, and it doesn't have to be about geographic stuff. It could be about a word like disability might be interesting to do a search for. So what kind of groups can I join for disabilities? Disability Visibility Project. Let me click on that. I want to see if I can join it. Okay. I'm waiting to be accepted into that. Disability Support Group. That might be interesting. Disabilities Rights. That's in South Africa. Might not be relevant to us. Autism Works in Seattle. Not relevant to me. Let me try disability and then New York. There you go. So, New York City Outdoors Disability. I don't know about that one. Let me look down. Here, let's see. Crips Occupy Wall Street. Let me try to join that group. Oh, one of my friends, 2 or 3 of my friends, Johnny Stevens, is in that group. So let me click to join. Okay, so I can spend a lot of time, as you can see, just doing a search for relevant Facebook groups to the work that I do here in New York City. I help manage this page called the People's MTA, and this morning I had a post scheduled for 7 a.m. because I wanted to remind people that we were going to do a press conference before the MTA board meeting. So let me show you Okay, so this is the post. It was like, join us at 9 a.m. today. It's actually me posting the event page as a post. That only reached 33 people. We have 207 people, if you can see, that like our page. So that's about 1/6 of the number of people actually being reached by this post. That's okay, but it's not going to really help us, right? I'm going to show you a post that I shared about 2 days ago. It's this one right here. It's a first look at the Brooklyn Queens Connector, an article from the New York Post. My commentary was, it's wheelchair friendly, but de Blasio says taxes for newly gentrified areas this train would serve will cover the cost. So it's only for people with or without disabilities who can afford to live in those neighborhoods. The bankers aren't fooling us. Cancel the debt. So, I posted this November 13th at 9 p.m. I shared it into 13 different groups and it reached 5,864 people. That was just maybe 5 minutes worth of my time sharing, and it got to that many people. In fact, within a couple of hours, it had already reached 5,100 people, and then it kind of slowed down a little bit as time goes by. More and more posts are up, added to Facebook, so that kind of competes um, with our post here. But and on top of that, people were commenting on here as well. So these are my comments, but you can see people were commenting. It takes about 5 minutes to share those posts into different Facebook pages or Facebook groups, but it's worth it. And so I hope that you start practicing sharing Workers' World posts before the conference, during the conference, and after the conference.